welcome back, and we're continuing Nile cruise from the Manuel Palace, the beautiful palace of the co-regent Prince Mohammed Ali Tawfiq, and actually we are in the co-regent and the reception hall, and we will be talking more about the history of this beautiful edifice and complex. And we're joined right now in the palace, by Mrs. Elham Salah, and she is the head of the museum sector. Good afternoon.
Ahlan wa sahlan. You're welcome here.
As always, it's a pleasure to have you with us on this amazing place. A lot of history, a lot of richness in this place. So how is it dear to you first, before we jump into the questions?
Actually, for me especially, it's a wonderful place. It has a special taste and a special dream and a special wishes to have such a house, just a place to be all the time here. Especially it has a wonderful garden, actually a historical garden, and a special mosque, and a special galleries, and a special fantasia rooms, such as what we have right now.
Yes.
So Manuel Palace, it's kind of taste, and actually we can tell that the Prince Muhammad Ali, the young Muhammad Ali, he has a special taste, and he's such of artist, and you can figure out in each inch in this palace that he was a fabulous man to think about art or to feel art. You can think about it, close your eyes and open it and look to each piece here and each part here, windows, floors, columns, ceiling. You can figure out that he was really a man take care of art. And also not just art in Egypt or Egyptian hand. He was around and traveled a lot out of Egypt. And each country he goes, wanted to bring something with him. And also bring art with him. Like you find out some taste, and especially the minaret and the mosque, even Morocco art or Morocco taste or Morocco fingers. And other, even his collection, his own collection. Also, you find different art from different country in this on those collection.
Now, this is a vast estate, the Manuel Palace, and actually it had a bigger garden, and it has like 5 or more complexes. And before the interview, you just told me even that one of the areas under restoration has been opened, and that there are more to be opened as well that we didn't know about. So would you please tell us more about the components of the complex itself, please?
Yeah, we have rooms like throne room, the golden room, sleeping room, so plus bathrooms. We have the basement also, which uses for kitchen. And also we have something called kushk shay, and this is repeated in different palaces, which is place to take
the tea, afternoon tea.
Yes. And I was just talk with the director of the museum to think about it, how to invest this place as a big restaurant, one Fantasia restaurants for use for public and for free VIP. This is, we are going to think about it, okay? And even the minister was thinking about it also, how to invest the garden. And we think about a small hotel inside it, which has the image, the same image of the palace itself. So, and the other rooms or other galleries is under, it was restored before, okay, as a building, as a structure. But it wasn't on display. I mean, they didn't take, or didn't complete the renovation to display the collection of Prince Muhammad Ali. Soon, inshallah, next or coming months, we are going to work on the collection of Muhammad Ali. It's about 15 galleries. And also we have discussion with the Ministry of Waqf, and also they have some collection they needed to take 2 rooms to represent their collection also. It's about manuscript and mushaf, and they have a special and wonderful mushaf of Khalifa Osman ibn Affan, which is really huge one. It's a really masterpieces also. So we have a hard work on coming months for the Manuel Palace, inshallah. And we just opened last month the Hunting Museum, which is a collection. It's really marvelous. You should see it before you leave. It's a nice place for children and even for adults. I love it, by the way. It has several collection for hunting. It's a collection of Yusuf Kamal, the Prince Yusuf Kamal, and collection of the King Farouk, and collection of Prince Muhammad Ali, which is really nice to place here.
Interesting. And if you can tell us about the history of the transformation towards becoming a museum with all of these areas and preserving this place in this way.
Such of palaces, as you know, that converted to the government, okay? Manial Palace was hotel till the beginning of 1990s, and then moved as a historical building or Islamic building to the museum Islamic sector, okay? And they moved later on, as they became Islamic sector, they moved all the cabinets or the hotel cabinets, and then gradually announced it to be a museum, a Manial Palace museum. Yeah.
Yes. Now, in terms of the complex itself, it's quite interesting because each area has its own style. Like if we look at the main palace, it's a mixture of with the beautiful Turkish tiles and the Islamic tiles, and then although it has these beautiful Islamic tiles, yet it's a merger between the Persian and the Renaissance Rococo style. Then we go to the coronation room where it's very European, and then the obsidian room. So each is totally diverse. Now, was it all built at the same time or at a Welcome back, and we're coming from the Manial Palace, and I was interviewing together with Sharif, Mrs. Elham, Salah, the head of the museum sector, and we were talking about the storyline. Here it has one storyline, because usually you tell us every museum you create for its storyline, but here it's the artifacts and the art. Now, is there any type of cataloging to the history or the artistic style of each piece, so that when we're looking at it, we can enjoy it? Because every room there are a variety of things. Like if we look here, for instance, this beautiful huge chandelier or the beautiful glazed glass. So how can we know not the history of it, because more or less it was made at the same time, but the artistic style it's derived from? Is there a catalog for that?
Yeah, actually the Manial Palace has no catalog yet. They're going they are working on right now to make the catalog of the Manial Palace Museum. But concerning what you said, that each museum has a story, okay, or it has a storytelling and has a link, you go through it, okay. But the Manial Palace has, it's a package. It's a package of life. It's a package of history of person. It's has a special details on his own life, about how far it was, time of sleep, time of eat, what kind of food he was eating, and also what kind of trips he did before, what kind of collection he has. And if we go through the details of the collection itself, each piece has a special story, okay? Especially we have the library of the Prince Muhammad Ali, so we can figure out a lot of stories. We can go through it, through our trip inside the museum. We didn't touch, or we don't have a handover to write the story of this place. It's written already, okay? Or like forcing to follow up the story, which is inside, many stories inside the palace itself. So we follow up the stories behind the walls, behind the curtain, behind the art, as you said, behind each piece. So we discovered, and also we apply as we have. As I told you both, that we have several workshops for museum education inside museums. And sometimes one of the curators or the member of the museum education asks, I remember we have a workshop called about health, okay, what kind of food we can take it, so we have healthy body, okay. And then the curator of this museum asked, what can I do? And said, okay, we have the garden, and we can think about the table of the Prince Muhammad Ali, what kind of food he looks for, and then we manage all this history inside our topic about health in general for public, and especially for the Prince Muhammad Ali and his family and his grandfather or mother or whatever. If he has a special story about kind of food, so we can mix it together, and then we create several storyline or several storytelling about the museum itself.
Yes, and definitely your role as the head of the museum sector is a very important role. We might look at it as the heritage aspect, but there is also a very important aspect for your role and your position. It's the museums in Egypt are the richness of Egypt. It's the source of economy too. Mm-hmm. And it is the motive for a lot of tourists to be coming and visiting Egypt. And the amazing amounts of museums that are in place or are going to be opening, like the Grand Egyptian Museum, which is supposed to be one of the best in the world in terms of a lot of aspects. Now, given these aspects and giving this introduction, the source of economy comes from here. Is there any source of the cabinet supporting you with new ideas and new budgets in order to transform those museums into more revenue generation for the country?
Yeah, let's just take it in parts, okay? The first parts in last years before 2010, okay? Mm-hmm. That Egyptian museum has no hands to bring the tourists inside the museums, okay? And people come because they love Egypt and they love history, and especially Egyptian history, okay? And through all periods, okay? Yes. Islamic or pharaonic or whatever, okay? People come. And we, before 2010, we depend on income of ticket, okay? And no hands-on, no creativity working on this, okay?
Exactly.
People come alone, okay? And money come alone, okay? Mm-hmm. And then accidentally, 2011, and curses, okay? And no money, no tourist. So we should think about it and turn back again and learn from our faults that we should depend just on tourists, and we should depend on our internal tourists, internal Egyptian people to work on. Because Egyptian people everywhere, they enjoy their time with cinema, theater, restaurants, cafeteria, cafe. They love to be in the street all the time, wake up till the morning, from morning to morning, okay? So Minister of Antiquities should think about it and work on this kind of income to the Minister of Antiquities. This is why 2 years we are working on this kind of strategy to work on internal tourism.
Domestic tourism,
yeah.
Yes.
And think about how to invest our sources, such as spaces for restaurants or spaces for cafes, spaces, even the garden spaces, we think about it, how to use it, bazaars, go gift shops, think about it, and how to evaluate our strategy and our way of moving toward investments. Okay. Concerning the government, if they are moved together with us or not, yeah, there are a lot of changes and very obvious to the community, very obvious to us, starting from the president himself, taking care of heritage and taking care of museum. And nowadays we find the army, in the Grand Egyptian Museum, they take care of whole project to run and be
move faster,
so fast and very good and in time, okay? And this is kind of investment to the heritage and investment to us, Ministry of Antiquities. And I guess probably you read in the newspaper yesterday the regulation done by Prime Minister concerning museums, that their big committee will be for all museums in Egypt to set together from very important people or very important members from several ministries, and this committee will take care of everything concerning museum, especially museum display, museum investment, museum and community engagement, because any kind of changes for museum should be backed on or
Community.
apply on community, and because museum for community, not for anyone, just for community. For any kind of evaluation for museum should be very clear or very obvious to community and very benefit to community, and also very benefit for the Ministry of Antiquities to evaluate ourselves and take care of our heritage.
That's very true.
Well, great. Mrs. Elham Salah, head of the museum sector at the Ministry of Antiquities. Thank you very much for this interview. And thank you for hosting us here. It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy that you are here because everybody now in around the world will see your program and see our palace. And this is very good to bring back the tourists to Egypt, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now we will be enjoying our own cruise online, where we will be looking at what's trending online. Like each was built at a certain time, like starting with one section and continuing to the other.
I guess so, because palace cannot be open in one time. It's gradually. But as you said, it's an impression of different kind of art and different countries of art. This is show how far he was interested of art, the Prince of Muhammad Ali. And this is why we have several impressions of different art in the palaces. Yeah, it's built in gradually. Actually, I don't have the
chronology.
The time
frame.
Time frame. Yeah.
Please.
Sharif, go ahead. Well, I was just going to continue on that, asking you about the palace itself. There are certain areas, like when we enter the palace of the prince, the second floor is totally closed to the public. I would like to know why.
It's not close to the public, by the way. It's just so you can go and see from the front.
Yeah, but there is a staircase, and there are things inside we cannot access.
Sometimes we say, especially if a number of people, because it's really risky. It's a wood and risky and need a lot of maintenance, as you know, and we don't have that enough money of any damage again, okay? And very precious, so we scared. We're scared because it's, the chair is made of out of wood, as you saw, and precious, and
it's just I'm curious about the rooms upstairs. I've never been upstairs.
Yeah, but you can go. We can go together. Yeah, we promise. Yeah, we can go together and see it. Okay, but we let a small group to see it, but not a big number of group. And we have limited number per day, because we care of the collection, we care of the stairs, and we're scared because it's a treasure, and you cannot come back again if it's destroyed. Yeah, this is why.
Being cautious is good, and I think because I know you kind of like to develop and take museums to the next level, and you would notice once you come inside here the neatness of the place and how organized it is. But there is an aspect that maybe you can help with too, and I know it might be outside of your scope, but it's important also for directing the journey of a tourist coming here and enjoying this amazing place, the external, the whereabouts of the Manuel Palace, the parking area, the street next to it. I know maybe it's beyond your scope, but it's a total package. It's an experience, and the location is amazing. I think there should be something should be done about the surrounding areas and the streets around the palace, including proper parkings for this amazing place.
This is actually not just a situation of Manuel Palace, it's in several museums, because especially with historical building, which is turned or converted to be a museum, because you didn't choose it, you didn't choose the location of the building. If it's old, Islamic, or modern times, or recent time, so it sometimes it's difficult. Okay, but we said that you can move and you can come, the buses can come and let the visitor be down and leave, the bus leave and come back again. But we think about, there is a piece of land close to the palace. We think about it yesterday because it was, some people got the place before and you should move back. And actually, the governor sent people yesterday, and nowadays he's still working on any
Trespassing?
yeah, on the Nile. And we thought about yesterday if we can use this piece of land as a garage,
Yes,
but
very
actually we are thinking about other thing to bring money.
Yes.
More, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So we thought about
This is
it.
the usual pressure.
Yeah, yeah. Especially we need money. Okay,
Yes.
we need money for renovation. We need money for rebuild. We need money for to complete several open projects for several museums. So it's under study. But as you said, that it's difficult right now even to find a space inside the museum itself for parking. But actually, it's a really problem, I know, and not just here. It's in several places. We faced it, and even in the street, our museums,
Yes.
we face this problem everywhere. And actually, it's a lot of cars too, and everywhere. So it's
It's not only about the
it's a
parking, it's
country
about
problem.
the experience of, having clean streets, planted streets. This is an amazing place. The surrounding area
yeah.
should be as amazing as the palaces.
Yeah, I know. But sometimes if you in a situation you didn't build or you started from scratch, so it's not
becomes
that easy
easier.
to figure
Yes,
out a
it's not, yeah.
solution. Yeah.
Now, Mrs. Elham, when we usually talk to you about museums, usually you tell us about the storyline. Here, the storyline is Muhammad Ali, so it's a set
Yeah.
storyline. But then,
Yeah.
what about cataloging the objects? But we'll continue talking about that as we will be hopefully going out to a quick break, and then we will be back continuing talking
Okay.
about that.